Welcome back to the Keep It Hoop YouTube channel, guys. Preseason is finally underway, which I'm sure we're all excited about. But on top of that, we finally got to see the return of Kevin Durant. Now, I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm not rooting for the Nets in general. But to see KD out there, man, as a hooper, as a basketball fan, as a sports fan, it was just fun to see. Just felt right again. Um, so I've actually had the idea of doing a short breakdown of his game, maybe look into his fit with the Nets and Kyrie before. Um, but seeing him play again last night made me kind of just want to get right into it. Um, I do think a big reason why I wanted to make this video was because I heard people leaving him off their top three, top five list, and I get it. He had a major injury, the Achilles injury, right? He was out all of last season, and it's not just an injury you can most people don't come back from it. And it's not like KD's particularly small or young. Um, that being said, I just needed people to see and remember just how good KD was. And honestly, after watching last night's game, still might be. So whether you guys saw the videos or the game from last night, in my opinion, KD looked fine. He looked healthy. He looked comfortable and confident, which I think is a really big part and sometimes an underrated part about coming back from a major injury. If the player doesn't feel like he can be himself and he can trust his body, um, it's really difficult to return to where you were or even close to it. Um, you're playing against the best players in the world. You have to be able to react on a split second, rely on your instincts, really rely on your body. And even if the shooting and the dribbling and all the skills and everything else is there, if you can't really just make split second decisions and trust your body and just go full out, it's really difficult to return to where you were before. So I think seeing him mentally um, look confident or comfortable out there is a big step. And granted, it's just a preseason game, and there's definitely going to be more checkpoints he's going to need to pass. Right? He went through the practices obviously and looking good. Then preseason's a big part. You're going to want to see him do it in the regular season. Then you're going to want to see him do it consistently, and then we can talk about the big games and stuff like that. But still, honestly, just felt right, man, and felt good to see him back out there. Um, Before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. It'd mean a lot. If you guys enjoy these player breakdowns, you can find. I've done 3 college player breakdowns. I have a Mobley, Jalen Suggs, Cade Cunningham. Um, those you can find on our channel, and let us know if there's any specific players or teams, either pro or in the college level, that you want to see me break down next. But yeah, let's get right into it. So these are going to be games from obviously, a couple years ago. I picked out a couple games that I think one was a 49-point game um, against the Magic, maybe. And then I think this is 51 against Portland. But yeah, I mean, obviously we know KD has had big scoring games in the past. I picked these 2 games because I mean, there were also a couple OKC games I thought about doing, but I wanted to keep it a little bit more recent because I do think um, he's become a better player since his OKC days, and not that he was bad or not, you know, top 5, top 3 in OKC, but once he got to Golden State, he took his game, I think, to another level, and we'll see that here in these clips. So this is a game they end up actually losing, but KD had a really good game. Um, I think, I mean, that's just an inbounds pass, but I think one aspect that gets overlooked is right here. If you watch Golden State games, or I've heard people talking about KD, you see the growth of KD, the defender. And I remember him when he left OKC, he was talking about how he said he wanted to keep growing as a player, and one of the things he really wanted to work on was becoming a defensive player. And, I do think this is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on again with his body. KD's always going to be able to shoot. And with his size, he'll be able to get, even if he's not 100% back to the KD that we're used to seeing, he's going to be able to score at different levels and in different ways. But how is his defense going to be? Because, when he plays guys like LeBron or Giannis, they're going to want to test him out, test his ankle out or Achilles out, and they're going to go at him, right? And he ended up becoming a really solid rim protector for Golden State. And, you know, there's Pachulia on the floor now, but they were able to run a lot of, Draymond at 5 because Draymond's a good defender, but he's not a rim protector. And that's kind of something Golden State had always been missing, an athletic rim protector. They try to do it with Kevon Looney and JaVale at times, and then Bogut was a little bit of a different type of rim protector. But, when they didn't have anyone else, KD really stepped up and became an above average rim protector. In position here, Nurk probably should have gone up stronger, but, KD gets the block, gets the rebound. And again, this is what we always want in the NBA now, guys who can get the rebound and go. Nice little floater. That's difficult too, to be able to going left, stopping, and then going up with that right hand floater. Something that really helped him here. You realize even though he's driving this way, right? He's driving this way. If you look at where he is right here when the shot goes up, he's still able to square his body. That's a lot of core strength and size, to be honest. But it's difficult to be, driving this way, right? Vertical, north, south, and then really just stop on a dime. And he's fading a little bit, but stop, square up the shoulder. And that really helps him, when you're trying to hit tough shots like this. Definitely helps. But nice move there. And again, to be able to take the rebound and go, coast to coast and at his height. I think another thing that's impressive about KD is that he makes a lot of these moves look easy. Right? Like, this is not an easy move regardless of your height. But he's doing it at 6'11", 7 foot. So, keep that in mind. Uses the pick and roll. Nice mid-range. I think it's become almost a bit cliche in speaking about how the mid-range is dead. It really isn't. It's become more rare. But if you look at the best scorers in the league, they all take that shot and they're all good at it. KD, Steph, Clay, Dame, Harden probably doesn't take it enough, but he's deadly when he does take it. A little step back, he usually likes to take it, from the elbows. He'll drive and then just put his head down, step back. Kawhi, obviously, Paul George, even LeBron. There's AD, guys like Cat. Like, there's still plenty of guys in the league who take that shot, and they all make him at a good clip. So yeah, the mid range compared to 20 years ago is taking a lot less. But if you look at the great players in the league today, they still take that shot and they still make it. So it's you still should practice that shot 100%. And he does a nice job here of KD actually does this a lot. If you I'm sure you're gonna see throughout the video, but he does a little hop right here, right? Right before the shot, instead of just walking into his shot, gets into a little hop. I don't know if you see it. Um, right there, gets into a little hop, and he does that a lot, and that really helps him square up and stay on balance. Um, Strong drive there, just puts his shoulder down, uses his body really well, and he's big enough where um, he can just adjust after the foul. Look, KD, obviously, there's a lot of jokes about how he's really skinny and he's not, big, and his weight and stuff. If you watch him play, he's not weak. He has some posters. He drives, pretty strong. Has some and ones, and obviously, he's had 4-point plays. He's strong with the ball, right? I mean, he just has a body frame that's really hard to fill out. Um, and it's you might not even be able to tell easily how much bigger he's gotten since he's gotten into the league. But he's definitely gotten stronger, and he plays stronger. I think that's one thing that gets overlooked as well. Nice pass. Katie's also a willing passer and a good passer at that, which is why I think it's gonna be fine with him and Kyrie. I know people are talking about, oh, he needs the ball in his hands, or there's not enough shots to go around. The thing that's impressive about really the whole Golden State team when they were together is that they can all play off the ball extremely well. And for all three of them being good scorers and shooters, that's I think what made them super hard to guard. And the fact that Clay, while he's not like an ISO, dance guy, he can still get his own. And Steph and KD can obviously get their own whenever. But the fact that they're all willing passers, average to above average passers, and then can play off the ball is what really made them difficult to guard. Um, so if you look at what the right, like I'm sure Steve Nash, who worked with the Warriors, will look at plays like this and implement it into the Nets offense. Um, so if this was the Nets, right, Steph's obviously going to be probably in the position that Kyrie's at. Shooter here is probably going to be like either LeVert or Dinwiddie. McGee is going to be Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan. And then, whichever one, if this is Dinwiddie, this will be LeVert. If this is LeVert, this will be Dinwiddie. And obviously I think, weak side shooter, or I guess, yeah, shooter here, Curry, and here can be kind of interchangeable between Kyrie, Dinwiddie, and LeVert. I don't think you'll see. I mean, yeah, I guess it's pretty interchangeable, but you're gonna see here, KD coming off the screen, a double screen, really. Right, if Curry right here is replaced by Kyrie, this defender still has to trail him. Right, because you're not gonna just let Steph in this case, but also Kyrie, just cut wide open. So this guy has to stay engaged, right? And he's still chasing KD, which means big man's defender here has to hedge, right? So what's the biggest part about this play is for this guard to cut all the way through. Because that's what's going to ultimately going to open the paint up, right? And is if you let it go here, they have to completely switch the screen. The defender that was chasing KD is off balance. Help side isn't really there because this guard right here has to stay attached. And again, Kyrie / Steph is going to have to, trail out to the three, but easy alley-oop, good pass by KD there. So, yeah, I mean, that's something that the Nets can obviously run. Set a double screen for Kevin Durant. Get him the ball, and then kind of let him play 2-on-2 with, either DJ or Jared Allen. catch and shoot. Again, I think, we talked about him being able to play without the ball, but really just catching and shooting. I feel like we're in a generation now where not all stars can or want to do that. Obviously Steph, Clay, the guys we said, um, can do that. Paul George is another guy who's a star who's actually good at playing off the ball. Um, and I think KD, which makes the Kyrie pairing fine, right? I think the biggest um, culprit of not being willing or able to do this anymore are guys like James Harden, Russell Westbrook. Um, they're guys who want the ball in their hands, who are good with the ball in their hands, but it's just it seems like playing without the ball has become a little bit of a lost art. Um, at least for stars, everybody wants the ISOs, and I get it. We were playing in a league now where the floor is spread. There's a lot of shooters. You get the ISO, you get mismatches, and it's easy to make highlights and get to the line. I get it, but just being able to have your stars being able to play off the ball and catch and shoot, as a coach, it just makes your job so much easier. Opens things up and really helps, especially if you have another star on your team, because then it enables the other star to do that if they can. But when you have multiple stars who can do that is then when you get things like Golden State. Obviously, it takes a lot of other things, but again, that's one of the things that made them so good offensively. Um, so like Steph breaks down the offense here, and again, that's going to be Kyrie. Kyrie can get that attention. Kyrie can get into the paint. Um, you can have here Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan, or even a guy like LeVert setting the back screen, good back screen there. KD knows to drift out to the 3-point line. And when I say playing off the ball, it's not just being able to catch and shoot. It's being able to like get open, finding the open spots. Um, because if KD just stays if if KD stays here where he originally was, pass is a little bit more difficult. Could you have two defenders here who could interfere with the pass? But instead, he slides over just a little bit, making this pass for Steph a little easier, and it creates himself a little bit more space too. Right? He slides over. Look at the space they have. And it just behooves you to be able to play without the ball and catch and shoot, because you can get so many easy baskets like that, even if you're a star. Nice play there. Again, I'm sure Steve Nash is looking at a lot of these tapes and just trying to see how to best utilize KD. Right? Great inbounds play right here. They set a back screen for Steph. They overplay and miscommunicate on Steph. Gives KD, again, a mid-range jump shot, right? He's taking them, making them. It's not dead, guys. Another thing you're going to realize with KD is he's able to get a lot of his baskets in the flow of the offense, right? It's not just ISO, 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 ISO. I'm sure he wants to go ISO at times, and he can. Definitely can go ISO. But if you're talking about a team's offensive flow and just keeping everybody involved, man, you get your baskets within the rhythm of the offense, and it's just so easy, a lot easier. It's here, Nurkic has to hedge, right? So in this case, again, you have a shooter like Kyrie or LeVert here. This defender can't fully commit here, which means, right, as long as this screen is good and KD uses it well, KD's defender is going to be trailing, which means the screener's defender has to come hedge, which means this big right here, whether it's DeAndre or Jared Allen, then gets a really easy rule, right? Because again, weak side defender here, the help defender at the guard position has to be somewhat still close enough to, it's going to be Kyrie, Dinwiddie, or LeVert. So then you just easy bounce pass, and then you get really an easy dunk. And you have options even out of that, because if you roll it back here, See, he can't stop him, so but now he's caught in no man's land, right? So Draymond here would again be most likely um, DeAndre or Jared Allen. But if you want to substitute maybe a 3 or a 4, someone who's a little bit of a better passer, let's say this is someone like Jeff Green, right? And maybe this is, I mean, obviously if it's Kyrie, LeVert, or Dinwiddie, still have a decent shooter, or maybe it's Landry Shamet, who's another really good shooter. Um, you have options, right? Because let's say he steps up, right? Then you have the lob right here. This guy can go up. So even if this is like, Jeff Green, then you now have a lob to, if this is now DeAndre or Jared Allen. And then you have shooter here. So again, it's just a really simple play, pick and roll, but you space the floor enough and you create yourself 3 really, really good looks. You either have a layup or a dunk for the roll man. And if he can read the second help defender, then you have either a lob or an wide open 3-point shot. So really, really good stuff there. Really good offense. Off from the screen and then KD's initial pass, right? Another mid range. If you drop too low, he's just gonna rise. Attacks the rim. Great offense rebound by Dre. Here's the ISO we talked about. He's still able to get you baskets when you need it. It doesn't have to be off of plays, off of pin downs, off of screens. And that's going to be the thing. It's going to be, another thing we have to keep an eye on is he able to get past the bigger guys to really solidify, keep that reputation as someone who can just punish every mismatch. Nice passing, and that's something that they're going to be able to run with Kyrie, right? When KD gets the ball in the mid post like that, the other team's defense is going to key in on him a lot, which means, look, because if you look right here, right, he's looking, right? And obviously there's the defender here. So you have 3 guys keying in on KD. And even this help defenders almost double teaming, right? Which allows Dre to set a screen here, and they kind of just play, 2v1 against Dame, and stuff comes out here. Just change the color a bit. So if you're able to, do that, then you're able to set a lot of, like, even if this was Kyrie, you're able to send, right? Usually whoever's the one helping, that guy to set any kind of screen. And then it's just up to Kyrie to find any opening. You can, slip it, cut, come out here. You can fade. But then Kyrie just gets a lot more freedom to get open and then do his thing, right? So yeah, the ability off of the ability, or just the attention he takes from the other team's defense. In traffic finish. Contested 3. Too easy for him. Contested for him is just different from other guys, right? Late hedge. The shooting's going to be there. He just needs to be able to, get enough separation and really his driving and defense is what I'm most concerned about. Not concerned, but interested to keep an eye on, because that's what's going to set the difference between, him averaging 23 to just being, old KD averaging 28, 29, 30. And he loves that pull up 3. Again, good pass, willing passer, heads up, good pass right here. Good screen too. If you're going to play off the ball, being a good screener definitely helps too, because it can help get you open too. And if you're open, you're either going to be able to score it or they're going to overplay you. And then if you're a good passer on top of that, again, just get other guys open too. But right, so this is really easy stuff they can run with Kyrie, with KD and Kyrie. Just got to get him the ball, get Kyrie the rock driving, and Kyrie's the way he plays the glass with his finger rolls and layups is just is amazing, right? But even then, if even if in this case it was Dame, but if he comes down faster, then you have Shooter on the other side. So again, it's just the amount of stuff they'll be able to do off of just simple actions because of KD's versatility, and then you have a guy like Kyrie on the side is just. I mean, their offense could be really scary, especially with guys like Joe Harris and Karis LeVert and Dinwiddie. They have so many options and different guys who I think LeVert kind of fits in a little less than like Joe Harris is obviously perfect for that team because he can just spot up and shoot, and the amount of open looks he might get this year is scary. Um, but yeah, I mean it is and especially with Steve Nash and I think people forget D'Antoni's now the assistant coach. The offensive things they might be able to come up with is actually scary, but also super interesting, and I'm excited to see it. So again, nice play there. And this is what I was talking about, right? Not just being able to catch and shoot, but just knowing how to get yourself open. He comes around the pin down, right? Um, he sees that the defender goes over, so then his response is to now just go slide back down that way, right? And then once he goes back down, right, he realizes that the defender right here, who was all the way up here, because he had to sprint down, he's now out of control. So what KD does is he comes back out, and if you look at the spacing created here, it almost looks like he did like a step back move, but he's able to do all that without the ball, right? And KD with his wingspan and height, like if he's already raising up before you're contesting, it's not like that live on TV looks like a contest, but if you look at it there, KD is about to release, and Afro Aminu here hasn't even left his foot yet. So if you're at KD's point of view, you don't even see him. Like this is a wide open shot for him, which is what makes it really difficult. Like if this is Steph, Dame, Kyrie, it's easier to contest even with just your arms. But KD's 7 foot with that crazy wingspan, has a high release. You know, if you're not up in his face, like he's wide open, right? And he's got enough reps where that's just easy. This is impressive. He was more bothered by the ref than the actual defender, so that's why you see him kind of fading away there, but still makes the shot. Look at him. That's too easy for him. He doesn't even no emotion. Nice pass again here. Amount of screen and roll. Yeah, you can run screen and rolls with your 7 footer, right? And like you can only say that about what Giannis. AD has some passing capabilities, but to be able to do that really on a consistent basis, it's just Giannis and KD at that size to be able to run pick and rolls like that. It's just unfair. It really is. And again, so they didn't want to give up a layup to Dre, so they kind of just switch it. And KD rises. Mid range, easy. But that's why the mid range is so important, man, because it's like if you're not a competent or willing mid range shooter, you just cut down on another option you have. So, right, he has the three here, which KD can and has made. But if you don't have the mid range, once you're here, you're forced to drive. And if he's forced to drive, right, Iggy, since he's here, the defender's here, he can come down. Like the paint is just more clogged. So what was a 2-pointer here in a close game, if this is someone else, or if this is, or if KD can't hit this mid range or isn't willing, you might end up just having to dribble this out and then ISO. And maybe he still scores, but that's a lot more difficult of a shot than just 1-2 dribble, pull up mid range, right? And it takes more time off the clock. So again, man, if it's just so much easier if that's in your repertoire. That range at 7 foot, what do you do? How do you stop that? Nobody's ever figured it out yet. Just gotta pray. See, like this is strong. Like people again, I know there's a skinny jokes, but like Al-Farouq Aminu is right on him, and Al-Farouq Aminu is a solid defender, and he just shrugs him off. Other side, uses the backboard, and obviously he's like automatic from the free throw line, right? Game against Orlando, um, these again are going to be the games that, or the moments where we'll know where he's really back when he's able to just go coast to coast and go off 1 foot dunk in transition. That'll tell us how good his body feels and how confident and comfortable he is doing so. It just takes him a step or two from deep three to just get to the rim, right? Again, that's too easy. Vucevic has to step up there because you can't give KD that mid range, and it's difficult because bigs again aren't as good at coming out and not defending, or defending outside the paint, but it's difficult. I guess the balance, but got to be good to be lucky. Got to be good enough to be lucky. Uses the screen again. That's not Aaron Gordon's fault though. If you're if I'm Aaron Gordon, I'm yelling at Vucevic because it's like, what do you? He has to hedge harder. He's nowhere to be. He's not even in the screen. Um, if you look though, KD again does that little hop before his jump shot, right there. Really helps with the balance. So if you're ever trying to practice jump shooting, obviously, um, you want to practice the 1-2 usually. So if you're righty, it's gonna be left right. If you're lefty, right left. But you want to practice both. 1-2, regardless of which hand you shoot with. Stop being left right, right left, um, and then off the hop because you just never know what situation you're gonna find yourself shooting in a game, and you want to be able to not think about it and just be comfortable shooting off of whichever foot you're going first with, whether it's coming off a screen, um, you know, coming to a complete stop pull up, off the ball, on the ball. So they're all things you got to work on. But KD, because I think on the first jump shot, he doesn't have the step hop here. He just goes right left. But right left is, quote unquote unorthodox for right handed shooters. Right left there, in balance. So being able to just shoot off of other different footings, um, and the hop there, as we talked about. And I'm sure you're gonna see this a lot with Kyrie, right? Um, Kyrie, KD pick and roll. Um, if KD says a good screen like he does here, um, this defender's gonna have to come up and hedge like they do here, because you're not gonna give a wide open shot to Kyrie either. And defensively, Aaron Gordon here was the hedger's just gonna have to hedge hard to not allow Kyrie an easy shot, and then trust your defender here, which I think is Vucevic, to fill in um, and then you rotate after that because that's team defense. Um, but Kyrie's good enough where he might be able to take advantage of that split second or mismatch, right? Um, and KD again playing off the ball and just really in the rhythm of the offense, pick and pop. And what makes him again difficult is he's able to get points like this so easily. When you watch guys like Dame and James Harden, I mean, I'm a huge Dame fan, and James is obviously can score in a lot of different ways, but there's nights where it seems like all their baskets come so difficult. Like they're dribbling, pound the ball 14 times, for 8 seconds or whatever, and they got to get through three people. But besides KD's height and versatility, like the just the ability to be able to score without. I mean, all he did here was set a screen and roll and just rise. It's no it's difficult, but like it's a lot easier than going ISO against someone really strong and then taking a lot of contact and then maybe missing the shot and then having to make 2 free throws because that those plays wear on you. This, I mean, they can get this pretty easily, and if the defense gives it to them and KD wants to, I mean, he can score 30 like this without sweating. So that's the scary part. The mid range, man, it's just there. It's there. It's always there. He'll take it and he'll make it. Transition again. He likes that running floater, right? So I think something I realized we saw it in the Portland game, and I think this is a better view than the last one. He's able to right here, like when he lets it go, he's able to adjust his body so both his shoulders are actually pretty square to the rim, which makes, I mean, and look at the release point. It's not even on the screen, but makes it, shows you how difficult it is to block his shots. So if you can't block it and he's square, I mean, it's at that point it's just up to him, right? So nice move there, going left again. Difficult floater, but gets it to go. Again, getting the rebound and go. Very valuable in today's league. With the left. Look at the patience too. The ground he covers with that step. And he's under control, right? Takes the huge step and then just almost like a Euro. Um Almost like a Euro, just finds the opening, takes it all the way. Nobody stops him in transition. 1, 2. Too easy. Too easy for him, but it really is like as a defense, there just isn't much you can do. Sometimes you just gotta just shrug and all right, he's better. And you realize, I mean, he's scoring at all levels in every way. Threes, mid range, driving, off the catch, off the dribble, fast break. That's a complete score. And then you add that with the passing and the defense we talked about, then you get the complete player. Look at that. Like he's not Clay, in terms of scoring, what was it, like 50 on like 13 dribbles or whatever, but he's up there, man. Just his ability to just play without the ball, find openings, and just get a shot up without even dribbling sometimes is it's up there with Clay. And that's just unfair. Lulls him to sleep. He likes to move a lot, whether he's coming down on transition, um, just through the legs, um, pull up. But right here, once he goes through the legs, right, he's still explosive enough for his height that if Isaac comes up too high, then KD can just blow past. And in a 1 point game, you know, you can't give up an easy, layup or dunk. You can't just let the best player on the other team, arguably in the world at this time, just get into the paint, right? So Jonathan Isaac, I think ideally you want his hands up a little higher, but This isn't even bad defense. Because you can nitpick and be like, that's too much space. But again, if you play up any higher, right, when he lulls you to sleep with that through the leg dribble, he is ready to both drive and explode and rise and shoot. And again, he rises and shoots a lot because he can make it, but it's also because the teams just don't want to give him a wide open, driving lane. Um, I will say something. Another thing that makes him be able to, explode to the rim. He has that little, really, really quick and short two step right there. I'm gonna try to rewind it again. Um, let's see here. Right there, right? So what that allows him to do, um, when you're able to have that quick two step, if Jonathan Isaac does step up, right? If he does step up, then you have a situation now where KD can explode off of that back foot, and you're going to see a lot of the elite players really do this. Um, to be able to get even more acceleration and have that kind of shot out of a cannon kind of first step, utilizing that back foot is really, really important. It can help you a lot. Um, Steve Nash was actually really good at this. He was able to get to the rim and have a pretty first quick step without being an elite athlete compared to other NBA players. But he has that little step, and you think of when you're doing like lunges or doing like split squats. Once you're once you push your one of your foot back and make it your back foot, you're loading all your energy and weight and momentum on this foot. So if Jonathan Isaac comes back or comes up, then now has all the momentum, energy, and explosiveness saved up on this foot, and then he can just explode out, right? Um, so if you're doing like, just things like split squats or whatever, just being able to, envision yourself being or using that left back foot, whether it's your left or right, and exploding, and not just trying to explode her out of a normal triple threat, can make you even quicker and faster than you might be normally. Whether it's just running, sprinting north south, but that explosiveness, a trick that a lot of guys do, anywhere from Steve Nash to James Harden, and obviously now, right, like KD. But the footwork is just really good in balance. And again, not even bad defense with Jonathan Isaac there, but just can't really stop that. Um, it's been kind of talked about, but the whole thing about how Kyrie said, KD's the first guy he feels like he can just kind of watch, go get a bucket at the end of games. I think it was a weird comment. We him being honest is fine, but I think it was just weird of him to be upset at people for relating it to LeBron. I mean, from now on, whatever he says when he's comparing things like teammates or whatever, now that he's played with KD and LeBron, like those kind of narrations are always going to be there. Um, Look, LeBron was really clutch towards his second go around in Cleveland, so I don't really know what Kyrie was talking about there, but I mean, the end of games is scary because we all know how clutch Kyrie is, and KD, um, arguably greatest scorer of all time. So you have to pick your poison. They can both, go ISO, get their own. Kyrie's another guy that can shoot it from the mid range and is willing, and you know, two guys who can score at both levels, and Kyrie not always the most willing passer, but can pass, and Kevin Durant, willing and a good passer. Um, and then you have KD, who can play alongside anyone with his willingness and ability to play off the ball. So really scary. I think, this video hopefully showcases a little bit of what they can do. Um, I think it's going to be a lot of Kyrie on the ball and KD getting it off of the roll or the pop, and then either just rising and shooting, or taking care of a mismatch, or just playing 4-on-3. Because you still can't leave Kyrie alone, right? So, um, and I hope this video showed a little bit of how good Kevin Durant was before the injury, for anyone who forgot or denies it. Um, Again, not a Nets fan. I don't want them to win, but excited to see KD back. Interested to see how he works with Kyrie. Um, if yesterday was any sign, they'll be fine. I think LeVert is the one guy that we're all gonna keep an eye on as well, just because of the trade rumors. How he played in Orlando was great, but last year he didn't necessarily fit in with Kyrie as well. Maybe he was able to work that out kind of in the offseason and kind of change his game up a little bit. But the Nets are obviously one of the teams to keep an eye on this season, and I'm sure we'll do either articles and posts and videos about them as the season goes on. Before we end the video, I just want to say thanks for the support as always. Again, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. Excited for the season. Hopefully, we can do a podcast episode on season previews, standings, awards, all that good stuff. Again, we're just trying to keep pounding out more content. Whether it's videos, articles, podcasts. But yeah, stay tuned, guys, and thanks as always. See you guys.